Valkyr is one of the oldest frames in the game and she recently got a rework. In addition to that, we are waiting for her heirloom skin on the 21st of July. So welcome back my lovely beans with a Valkyr guide. I'm excited. They did rework her passive and all of her abilities. Her passive is now a rage bar. This will fill up by melee attacking and killing enemies. With this, you can gain up to 300% additional melee damage. If you're over 150%, you have an extra layer of protection. When you receive a fatal hit, your rage meter will be consumed to prevent your death, and it grants you 5 seconds of invulnerability and regens 100% of your health. Your passive doesn't have a cooldown. Her rage meter decays by half over 43 seconds, so you have enough time to find the next enemy. She also recovers 50% faster from knockdown and is immune to hard landing. Valkyr's first ability is called Ripline. She fires a grappling hook in front of her. If she hits terrain, she will pull herself towards the location. If she hits an enemy, she's pulling all enemies in a 9-meter radius together and deals slash damage. While casting Ripline, you are refreshing your double jump. When you jump during Ripline, you will cancel it while still having your momentum. This ability has a slight cast delay, which is affected by casting speed. Warframe. Valkyr generates an aura within affinity range which strengthens herself and allies. They gain attack speed and armor. The attack speed is additive to mods like Fury. The armor buff is based off the affected Warframe's based armor value and stacks additive. It is Valkyr's Subsume, while Warcry attack speed is reduced to 30%. When leaving Valkyr's affinity range, they are losing the buff. When re-entering it, they're gaining it back. That also applies if allies lose the buff due to nullifiers, for example. Paralysis. Paralysis is Valkyr's third ability. It affects enemies in direct line of sight, deals impact damage and slow enemies. The main focus of it applies melee damage vulnerability. The slow is capped at 75%. Hysteria. Hysteria activates Valkyr's exalted weapon and is a channeled ability, which means you can't regen energy via Energy Siphon, Energy Nexus, Dreamer Spawn, Zinderic's Wellspring, or similar abilities. In Hysteria, Valkyr is immune to status effects. It synergizes with Warcry. Warcry grants a 3x additional armor bonus. While in Hysteria, you can cast other abilities, also your subsumed ability, and you can use primary and secondary weapons. Just be careful swapping weapons, because this will deactivate the benefits from Hysteria, like status immunity, health restore, and Warcry's tripled armor. While in Hysteria, you can still benefit from certain incarnate evolution, for example, Praetos. Valkyr's exalted weapons are her claws. She will from now on melee attacking with these ones. The first argument is called Swing Line. After using Rip Line, the next 4 Rip Lines will have no energy cost while airborne, and you gain 20% pocket velocity. Eternal War is the second argument. While Warcry is active, the duration is increased for 2 seconds for each melee kill. The increased duration is based off ability duration. Prolonged Paralysis. Enemies that are affected by paralysis are being pulled towards you, and the stun duration is increased by 200%. The duration and pull strength are both affected by ability strength. The range is affected by ability range. And range is one of the arguments for Hysteria. Damage increased by 200%, critical chance increased by 200%. The Hysteria lasts for 15 seconds and received a matching cooldown. Important here, the cooldown starts after the duration ends, and the cooldown is equal to the length of Hysteria was active. The duration is affected by ability duration, and the bonus damage and the critical chance are not affected by mods. The second argument for Hysteria is called Hysterical Assault. Aim and then attack to leap onto enemies up to 50 meters away. The leap distance is affected by ability range, and it can't be casted during abilities like Ripline and potential other non-full body animations. For the first build, I'm showing you a comfortable daily build, in my opinion. We're using Swift Momentum for the 6% melee combo duration. That is just for comfort. If you don't want to use it, another great option would be Growing Power, Steel Charge, or Corrosive Projection. We are then using Prime Continuity for ability duration. We're running Vitality for base health, Stretch for a little bit more range, especially for the one for our Ripline. We're running Equilibrium for our energy economy, Transit Fortitude for a little bit of strength, but not too much. Eternal War because I'm, personally want to be lazy with my 2, especially since we're using Arcane Battery. For that more in a second. We're using Umbral Intensify for a little bit more strength and Adaptation for, adapting to damage resistant. Keep in mind, usually you don't build up for the full 90%. We're averaging 50%, I would say, but it will help you stay alive. So, why Eternal War? Because with Warcry, we're gaining extra armor. That armor, you know, is affecting Hysteria, triple the armor. With that, you know, really nice for Arcane Battery. We're reaching 1100 roughly. Really nice. I'm a little bit lazy. I don't want to recast it constantly. I want to make sure that I don't have to re-think about a recasting and losing at all my Arcane Battery buff and running out of energy, because you see, we're not running flow. Hence, I want to be lazy. That's why. Mod Augment, like I said, for a little bit more strength. Two things for this. We're running Lycasant over the 3. Why over the 3? Paralysis is great, but you necessarily don't need the damage vulnerability you're applying. And with Ripline, you have a movement ability and technically a grouping ability. And also really important, you have a really easy ability that activates your melee exposure, because we are running on our plus melee exposure, and for that you do want to react on a regular base and ability. In that case, also what are we running on our talents? Like I said, we're running melee exposure. For that you do need to, on cast ability, gain 60% corrosive damage on melee strikes for 25 seconds, but you need to reactivate that, so Ripline in my opinion is great. We're running Prime Pressure Point. If you have a primer, you can use Condition Overload, depends what you prefer more. Galvanized Steel for extra crit, Blood Rush for extra crit, Prime Breach for extra rain, Prime Fever Strike for Toxin, Body Kind, that is simply if you want to. Since Valkyr is not struggling that much with combo anymore, and you can run Namaron, that is technically your flex slot here. If you feel like you want to like slot a Bane or like a Smite, that's absolutely up to you. If you feel like you want to run something else, you know, that's definitely the spot where you would say, here I would swap that out. Archon Shatter and Gladiator Might, because I was like, why not going a little bit higher in crit damage? I personally don't like to run melee influence on Valkyr, simply because her status chance is really low, and to try to get that up high enough to have consistently melee influence proccing, not in my favor. I'm preferring raw damage on melee exposure. Usually I don't have a Sentinel on, but priming in general will help to keep your Lycas hunt up the duration. And that's why I do like to run Derriger. And I want to make sure, you know, that I will be honest. So Derriger is a great option for this setup, simply because it will make it more comfortable. I'm showing that off here. Don't forget, as I said, to like cast your Ripline from time to time. I'm not that great with like having my Ripline movement. You know, I'm still going into awkward corners from time to time. But that is, you know, by the way, a comfortable build with no shards. I don't run any shards on my Valkyr. I wanted to like show that off without any shards, just to like show the raw damage of Valkyr in that case, because I found that more interesting. There, I have to say, my Lycasant run out. But that is for the first build. For the second build, I do know that some people like to see bigger numbers, more numbers. And in that case, we're running more strength and raw. We're running growing power simply because I want to like show you different options. We're running blind rage, adaptation, eternal war. Once again, we are a little bit lazy. Stretch, prime continuity, energy conversion because you can snapshot your 4, vitality, and equilibrium. We're running once again Mod Augment and Arcane Battery. Your flex slot here is definitely energy conversion. If you want to run anything else, that is absolutely fine. You could, for example, run even more strength with Umbral Intensify if you wanted to. Once again, for Arcanes, we're running Mod Augment and Arcane Battery. That's why we're running Internal War, to keep our Warcry up, to have consistently the Arcane Battery. Keep in mind with this build, you're running negative efficiency, so make sure you feel comfortable with your energy usage. You can support yourself with Symphony Construct and Seismic Bond, and make sure your KPM is high enough. If you're just starting out and still want to like play Valkyr, especially since we all get a free Valkyr Prime from the TennoCon, this would be a great option for you. We're running Dreamer's Bond simply because it is a quest reward. Intensify for a little bit more ability strength. We're running Flow because no Arcane Battery. We run Continuity for the duration. Streamline for higher efficiency simply because then the drainage on our 4 will be lower. Equilibrium to make sure that we have enough health on energy drops. Stretch so the Ripline has a bigger range. And Vitality for our base health. Now here, Natural Talent is your flex slot. That is technically what you can swap out. If you already have arguments for Valkyr, go for it and get yourself some Augments. I find casting speed always kind of comfortable. Another option would be Mobilize if you want to run that, simply because you gain Parker velocity and aim glide. No worries if you don't have that. When you're starting out to play this game, use what you have and don't worry about things you don't have. Over the time, you will simply gain whatever you're missing. So don't look at things you don't have and play around with what you have and testing what makes you comfortable playing a frame. For the talents, it is literally the same. We're running Reach for some range, Organ Setter for some crit damage. We're running True Steel for some crit chance, or Pressure Point for the melee damage, Fever Strike for the toxin. We're running Body Count for the combo duration. That is a mod from Damos Bounties. If you don't have it, simply drop Fury attack speed, not needed because technically we get attack speed for Warcry, so if you feel like swapping that out, go for it. And Gladiator Rush, it is from Cetus Bounties for combo duration, also droppable. These 3 mods are droppable if you want to. You can either, instead of going pure toxin, you can go viral if you wanted to. You can go corrosive. I would also in the beginning always suggest what faction you're going against and what they're weak to, and try to mod for that, because that will definitely improve your damage. For shards, what shards are technically possible on builds? I will not make a difference between the daily build and the strength build because they will technically be the same. For the builds, you can definitely run as many purple crit damage shards as you want and as far as you want to go. In addition to that, you can use Parker velocity, obviously. You know, Praetos is still being used. It's not being overwritten. As I said, you can, you do gain the benefits from Praetos or Okina. That's, the most 2 common options. In addition to that, casting speed for your Subsume and your Ripline, since Ripline has a slight cast delay, makes it maybe more comfortable. Blue shards for health. You can use red shards for ability strength. Why red shards maybe over purple shards? Because the red shards are also like boosting your Subsume and your Warcry, while the purple shards are only boosting your Hysteria or like your claws. So that would be an option. Ability duration, if you feel like your Subsume are like a little bit less, or you're running overextended and you're losing a lot of duration there. If you don't want to run Arcane Battery, you do need Prime Flow or a normal flow plus 1 blue shard for the 500% energy to get the extra crit from the purple shards. Arcane Battery works without an issue upon activating to gain enough to hit the 500 for the armor, even without having Warcry active, specifically on Valkyr Prime. Why not Triple Umbra on my builds? I'm personally simply not Triple Umbra fan in builds general, because that generally means you need 2 Umbra farmers in a build, and in addition of that, you don't need the Umbral Fiber, you don't need the extra armor on her. First things first, Valkyr Prime does already have 1000 base armor. In addition to that, you get the extra armor based off your ability strength from Warframe, which will be literally tripled when you activate your Hysteria. So in my opinion, you don't need to have any additional armor onto her. In addition to that, simply have Vitality on is enough. For the stuff that I was running, my health never got touched. Even when I got nullified, I had always enough time to reactivate it. And you do literally have your rage meter, and that never went down below, 50% for me to even worry about not having it. So definitely, my opinion, not needed. If you want to build that way, go for it. You're always free to play the way you want to play. I'm just giving you general suggestions. I'm giving you my opinion, and that's all. For Subsumes, in our builds, we now experience Lyca's Hunt and Roar. Do you need Roar? No. Is Roar funny? Yes. Lyca's Hunt, definitely for laziness. You can activate it. You don't have to worry about it. If you run it with Devriga and you're priming from time to time, you don't even have to worry about your duration on your Lyca's Hunt. What are other nice options on your Valkyr? Nice options are Silence. Why is Silence, in my opinion, always a great option? Because it simply helps you against Aximits units and it helps you against violence. The biggest thing that can happen to you as Valkyr is getting nullified. And, violence spawning randomly and silencing you is really annoying. So what are we doing to counter that? We're silencing him first. So Silence, great option. Another option, obviously, is Nourish. Nourish, energy economy, also applying viral, is a great option. I would go for it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm also streaming on Twitch Saturday to Tuesday, 8 p.m. Central European Time. So feel free to check me out and see you there. Bye bye!